I'm Jake.
I'm Joe. Nice.
And tuning is optional. Very interesting show today. I've been getting my new rig together for this year's seasons of gigs and things,
shows.
rock and roll shows. And I wanted to do a show on the 5 top things that we see when pedalboards come in, the 5 top things that are going to ruin your gig. The most common causes of failure points in boards. So we're going to go through that today. It's really super, super interesting. But also we have some pedal news, which is amazing. And
what, Daniel? Tell us.
We have, if you remember last week, we announced the winners of the 2 runner-up pedals, and only one of the 2 got back. Ben Basham, congratulations. This Harmonious Monk will be winging its way to you tomorrow. However, the second winner never got back in time.
Oh, no.
So we had
So it's a rollover.
It's a rollover. It's a what do you call it in lotto?
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
rollover.
Ben, I'm
Right.
doing the opposite of an unboxing video.
You're doing
Why are you
a
trying to do a
reboxing
boxing
video.
video for you, Ben?
Fabulous.
Well, Dan goes through that.
Yeah, so congratulations, Ben. That's awesome. It's an amazing pedal. It really is great. But the Nocturne, the brand new Keeley Nocturne collaboration between Robert Keeley and my good friend Andy Timmons. It's the most extraordinary reverb pedal. And Lizzie on the knobs, who have we drawn out of the hat for the Nocturne?
It is Joe Weaver of Fort Myers, Florida.
Yeah.
Joe Weaver, Fort Myers, Florida. You have 1 week to get in touch. You must use the same email that you entered the competition in with, and we will get this out to you. So yes, massive thank you to Robert Keeley and all the amazing people at Keeley Electronics.
Yeah.
And also to our dear friends at Jam.
Jam.
How wonderful.
Jam.
So what do we want to do first? Do we want to dive in, or do we want to actually get into pedal news and questions?
And
even
all questions.
Even chat. Who's in the chat?
Who's in the chat?
Who's in the chat? We've got good morning from Colorado. Got
Yo.
Tone Dragon. Good morning from Alberta, Canada.
Yo,
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Hello from France. Good morning from Minneapolis.
Bonjour.
Um,
Like that. I do Duolingo.
Dave Lewis. Hi guys and all. Scott
Beautiful.
Curry. Greetings from England.
Yo,
Hello from
yo.
Aldershot.
Oh, we played that.
We played an Aldershot last Friday, and
Yeah.
it was incredible.
It was one of the best
Really?
gigs
Yeah.
in the
In
longest
living
time.
memory.
It was
It
so
was
good.
wicked.
Amazing. What'd you play? Pig and
That's-
Whistle.
So something.
So Dog
It
and
was
Duck.
something. It was a theatre.
The bunch of grapes.
It might have been called like the New Theatre.
I think it was the new theatre.
It was one of
That's
those gigs that people were queuing for merch before the gig had started.
Yeah, it was
one of
crazy.
them.
And
Well,
merch
okay.
was busy all
Right.
night. Room was packed
So
all night.
Aldershot,
It was
we love
incredible.
you.
Well, that is fabulous.
Thank you, Aldershot.
I'm going to say that I went to see a gig
Who'd you see?
on, was it Monday night? Tuesday? I can't even remember.
Wednesday
Monday
night.
night.
Man.
Gig on
I
Monday
went to a
night.
gig on Monday night because on Monday we interviewed the unbelievable Madison Cunningham,
Oh, cool.
and then we went to see her gig in the
Cool.
evening, and it is life-changing. And
What venue was it?
it
The
was
Pig and Whistle.
it
or
was
the
no
Bunch of
man.
Grapes or
it
the
was
Shag and Dagger?
no, it was an old church.
the Drunk Kangaroo.
It was in Bristol. Trinity Hall.
We played a wedding there once, didn't
We
we?
did, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've
Yeah.
been
So
there.
she was amazing. And today I've been filming with the incredible Joey Landreth.
There was part of me that was hoping you'd turn up with him, to be honest,
Yeah.
but I can't see him in a box anywhere.
No, he's
Missed that man.
he spent some time with us today, and then he's heading home to Winnipeg. And
In a Winnebago?
In a Winnebago.
He, the other day, got a hand tattoo while he's out on tour, and I think
That's how cool.
for anyone that has tattoos...
Left or right hand?
Good question. I didn't take that in, but either way, I thought,
That's
you know
cool.
how things swell or whatever when you
Yeah.
get tattooed? The idea of playing a gig that evening with a swollen hand.
You're a tattoo dude.
I'm a tattoo
You a
dude.
tattoo dude? Lizzie, are you a tattoo dude?
No.
She
No.
has. She's
Dude.
got a huge
No.
snake like all the way down her back.
The Yakuza.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yakuza run the knobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Should we start with pedal news and then go on to the...
yeah, that sounds like
Lizzie
good.
wants to know
Thank
about
you,
the pedal news.
Lizzie, keeping us on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Fabulous. All right, pedal news. Pedal news.
So, I realised at first we haven't actually tested if my laptop works.
Yeah, I
It's
just
gonna
thought
work,
that.
But we're just going to keep going.
It's going to
with
be
it.
alright.
So first up is have you seen the new thing from JHS? The double
Oh, yes,
Dragon?
Double Dragon.
Yeah, which is, they call it a lo-fi octave. Yeah, so I've got 2 clips for you as well. We've got the video JHS did where Josh is just riffing.
Yep.
And then Joe found like a really cool video. Who is it?
Base the world.
Bass Well, that's it. Doing demo on the bass. Sounds really
Okay.
cool.
One
as
of
well.
the few pedals out there that sounds so good on bass and guitar. Like
Okay.
it might be an OC2 killer.
I allowed him this
It
time
might
to.
be.
Ooh, that's a big statement.
That's how good it is.
An original OC2
Respect.
killer.
Yeah,
Goodness.
it's that kind of bass world
That's a
describe it
big,
as like
okay.
a submarine,
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe has hung it all out there.
which is crazy, and
Put it
no one
away,
would
Joe.
expect that.
Let's have a look.
Put it away.
Let's have a look.
Here we go.
Called Double Dragon. Why is it called Double Dragon? Because it's 2 octaves. Double the dragon. The Double Dragon is nostalgia. Octave circuits that everyone couldn't wait to get rid of, that they now need to rediscover, have been there all along. This is a look backwards at octave. I don't want to too many good ones. I mean,
Okay.
I'll give you the bass video as well.
All right.
Should we do them together?
Yeah, just quick.
Yeah.
Because I want to show another video. Okay. Right. Okay. See,
Have that for tea.
I don't know
Have that for tea.
what. See, in Australia, Double Dragon means something else.
What does
What does it mean in Australia?
Okay, if you go Double Dragon cricket on the tube of view,
I love learning.
and
Does the hat you pulled the name out of?
yes,
Does it have little corks on it with strings?
no, it doesn't.
Is that a thing, or is that a
Well,
myth?
No, if you go out to like the outback, like the centre of Australia, people would wear those because the flies are
Is it that
like
bad?
they will destroy you.
I didn't know if it was real or if it was like a.
Should be.
Is it cool?
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. All right. So this is an Australian Double Dragon. Oh no, hang on. You need the commentator. You need the one with the commentator. Hang on.
The
Right.
one with the
That-
slight-
That's try that one.
that one.
Yeah.
Have a look at this. You hit this, and you're involved in what I believe is the catch of the century. Have a look. Cameraman catches, throws it back, relaxes, cigarette, and here it comes. Double Dragon.
Wow.
That's an Australian Double Dragon.
That's
So,
amazing.
That's amazing.
That's really funny.
That's made it even better.
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So Josh, that's for you, mate.
How good does that sound, though?
It's very good. Yeah, it's very good. I'm be very interested to. Why do you think it would be an OC2 killer? Because the OC2 is clean.
Yeah, they've got a bit of dirt and stuff on there.
Yeah, but it's dirt because of the tracking and.
I think there's a little bit of gain on the video. I'm not sure. I'd need to try one to know how
all
much
right.
of that is dirt.
Okay. Because it sounds like the plus octave is an octave fuzz.
So that's an Octavia,
Yeah.
which is my favourite type of octave up. I always think that digital octaves up sound kind
They
of grim.
are awful. Yep.
But it's just another take on that style of Octavia. Everyone else has gone super digital.
Yes.
They describe it, for what it's worth, as the Double Dragon lo-fi octave device is built on the shoulders of 40 to 50 analog divider technology, the same technology that gave us the MXR Blue Box, DoD Octopus, the OC2, the Ibanez OT10. Do you know that, Pedro? And the Electromonics Microsynth.
Okay.
So I guess it is
Yeah.
quite clean.
Well, okay,
on
we'll
those.
see.
Yeah.
We'll get one in. We'll have some schwang.
But
live.
that's
I'd like
exciting.
to
it's
Why not?
great.
It
It's
sounds
amazing.
unreal.
Well
and
done,
it's
Josh.
tiny, and it's not expensive either.
How much? Oh, it's $179.
Like that's
Yeah.
great.
So I don't know what that
It's good
means. An
times.
old blighty.
Well, the exchange rate this morning was 1.33.
Quit maths.
So
Go on, Lizzie. Quit maths.
Oh, he's
Seven-
so business.
£7.
He's so business.
Yeah, great, fabulous,
Sweet. Right.
sweet.
Next
Okay,
up.
next.
Next is
Okay.
the Syntax Error XP.
Okay, we
from
just need a moment.
Alexander Pedals.
This is the best artwork on a pedal.
You got to see it first.
Okay.
Look at the artwork on that.
Is,
Does that
hang on, hang
not-
on. Is that an actual screen or is that just the artwork?
Yeah,
That's a
screen,
screen.
maybe.
Okay.
Doesn't that make
But-
you feel like you're doing GCSE computing again? I'm so old.
My maths homework.
We
You know
didn't
what I'm
have.
saying?
We had abacus when I was. And, you know,
Is that before the
with no
roads
computers.
came in?
That's for the wheel, my friend. There are no
doesn't-
roads when you have no wheels.
Does that not make you feel super nostalgic?
Yeah. I think you linked it to me on Instagram and I just put I want to buy it for the artwork alone.
Yeah.
Should we hear it?
Come on
Yeah.
then.
Should we hear it make some sounds? Go on then. So, right, here we go.
How sort of post rocky, glitchy,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the third iteration
right?
of the Syntax Error by Alexandra Effects. They did the original one was the same kind of format.
Mm-hmm.
They did a much bigger one with loads of random features in it, and then they've gone back and they've done a Leap series, which is their digital platform thing.
Okay.
They've kind of ported it over, so it's like the easy way to think about it is a multi-effect that will also like bit crash and sample reduce.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, it sounds good, and it's great to hear it in a musical context.
Yeah.
You know, it's that kind of
Ambient trash.
ambient,
really cool.
trashy, post rocky stuff.
Because I think effects like that, you kind of need to hear them in context. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
it
That's
doesn't
just
really.
Weird
noise.
bleeps and bloops.
Well, I mean, I honestly don't mean to bring up the names, but when I was in the studio,
What does syntax error mean in Australia?
well, grab a Syntax Error cricket. No, when I was in the studio with Noel, when he was recording with David, a producer, amazing producer,
And Goliath?
David Holmes,
Leroy.
and he was using the CD glitch pedal from
Catalan
from Pedalboard. Yeah. And he was getting those sorts of things, you know. It was, you know, a bit longer between the glitches. It wasn't a constant thing. And then it would just go insane. But yeah, it's a really cool sound. And hearing it done musically is great.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Wicked.
Okay.
Right, we have two more things.
All right.
Sadly, they don't really have any sound. They're sort of teaser videos.
Okay.
Do you remember ages ago?
In the 21st year of September or whatever that is. Anyways, keep going.
That Dr. No created his own transistors.
I do remember that. Yes, I
registers.
do remember.
So this is 3 gain stages that stack into each other,
Mm-hmm.
all featuring these skull. I think they're called skull sisters. Is that right?
I think that's right. So this is what the bad boy looks like. That's a really small picture. You're bigger. Yeah, there you go. Warning: the guitar effect is equipped with the original Dr. Skull Tristers. But they've done a little teaser video that I'm going to show you.
Okay.
You can't really hear it.
Okay, very, very interesting.
Okay.
Who doesn't love a Flox knob?
Yeah, I mean, from memory, because he blurs the line between art and sound.
Yeah, 100%.
Agreed.
You know, and I love that. I love that creative approach. Some of his projects have been outrageous.
Like the poo.
Yeah,
the poo
that
fuzz.
thing. But the fact that he's like, okay, I'm going to make my own transistors, back to back a couple of diodes, and I don't know what he's done, but it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
totally.
So cool. Okay.
Lastly,
Lastly,
this is important. This dropped this morning, and it was quite funny. Joe and 2 other friends literally linked it to me all at the same time. It was popping up on my watch, and I was like, this is big. Surfy Industries have done a Beach Boys The Pet Sounds reverb.
There's like official
Beach
collab.
Boys
yeah, but
certified.
how new is this?
It's dropped today.
It dropped
It
today.
dropped today.
Yeah.
Oh my
This is-
goodness. Okay.
So, again, there's no sounds, but like this clip sort of dropped today.
So do you remember? So
Do
I'm saying
you
it.
remember?
Dum, dum, dum.
It must have been, I wonder if it was a couple of years ago now, when the Beach Boys did a limited run of stuff through Sweetwater,
Mhm.
where I think Josh
Yeah.
did a
Was it Josh
Thing.
and Keeley as
and
well?
Keeley
Yeah.
and Chris Benson
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
did the spring reverb, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Robert did the 12 string effect.
Yes, that's it.
And Josh did some sort of rotating speaker thing, I think, but I'm probably completely wrong. Look,
But yeah, I thought that was a really cool.
it's really cool.
like
really
fully
cool.
Beach Boys.
Real spring reverb for the win.
Yeah.
Oh, every day. But anyway,
There you
very
go.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Honourable mention, really.
Great.
There you
Great.
go.
Any questions so far from the lovely people in the chat? Elizabeth.
We have a couple.
Yes?
I'm thinking about doing a bass wet dry rig. Any issues to look out for? Should I stick to my G3 parallel setup?
I would argue that you can do a lot of the wet dry thing through 1 amp using the parallel features within G3.
So, because Joe's
normally-
primary instrument is bass.
Yes, well,
Right.
I can't play guitar. I'm not allowed to
So-
play guitars.
And it's really interesting, the use of bass players with parallel. It's like, I would say it's a must.
Oh, it's incredible. Like when we first developed the Atom and G3, it completely changed my view on effects.
Right.
Because parallel processing is so important for bass.
Yep.
You can totally do 2 amps and do the wet dry thing, but it depends on what level of wet specifically we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing like massive reverbs, that can obviously muddy up the bass massively.
Yes.
Something that's really useful, I learned a lot of this from DivKid on YouTube, who's a massive Eurorack guy,
Right.
is filtering your wet signal using either a bandpass or a high pass before the wet signal,
Okay. Yep.
especially with bass, so that you still get the character of the instrument, but you don't get all of the low end weight and energy hitting everything.
Yes. Okay.
So
Very
you still
good.
get that ambience, but
Yep.
it doesn't muddy everything up. And
Yep.
that way, you
So
can
it's
then do it
not
through 1
just
amp.
parallel. You're actually filtering the wet signal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say that for bass players especially, I mean, man, if you've got a second bass amp, give the wet dry thing a try, because it's extraordinary. But the most important thing is an outside parallel signal path that you've got, because depending on the way that you play bass, do what you like, but as a fundamental thing in a band, having a very together bass sound.
It's an interesting difference maybe than when you think about it from guitar, because without that solid fundamental, the band falls apart and the bass becomes slightly irrelevant. You need that weight and that solid sort of core of sound for it to work with almost in any situation.
Sure.
So the main thing that I would say, and this is the the main bugbear I have with clean blends on most pedals is that you ideally actually want a clean blend that has some of the top taken off. Because if you have a completely clean blend, you end up with very clanky, scratchy, super dry bass sound, which then makes anything you're doing alongside it sound very separate.
Right.
As opposed to if you again filter the top end off of that clean signal, it then sounds more together because you have the weight from that clean signal and then all of the character in everything else you're doing.
Yep.
But the separation between the two,
bright transient.
Yeah. Because the super clean bass is
hard,
horrible.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I think that was a fairly
like that.
Yeah, good. I mean, I would say give it a go, but the parallel thing. And if you don't have a G3 Wetterbox,
honestly, I used the Wetterbox for a long time with my main bass tone and then a guitar distortion in parallel.
Who did we have in recently who discovered the Wetterbox?
We had my brain.
Your bass player friend.
Yes.
Well, Johnny Dibble.
Johnny Dibble. The hero is Johnny Dibble. Yeah, we did a whole video on stack and gain stages in serial versus in parallel with bass and how important it is and how much of a difference it makes, especially if you want that like gnarly guitar bass through a guitar amp, like all of that stuff. You need that parallel thing for it to work, otherwise.
Right. The Royal Blood and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I would go right back to early Guns N' Roses.
Oh, cool.
That
Duff McKagan.
Yeah. Running, I think, for a JCM 800 as well as an Ampeg.
Feels right. Yeah.
That's
it's
good.
very meta, isn't it?
Yeah, great. Okay, another question there, Lizzie.
Yes. What is the correct way to connect the tuner to the aux/tuner loop? Guitar, input tuner, output tuner, aux tuner loop.
So you're just going to go, you're going to go from your guitar into the input of the G3 or Atom, and then you're going to come out of the aux just with a standard mono jack cable into the input of the tuner, and that's it.
It's a
you don't
send.
need to
send out to the tuner.
You don't need to return because it's muted when it's in use. So.
Yes, or there's a settings in there that doesn't have to be muted in use. You can have it so that the signal's going to the tuner all the time. So I know that's the way Steve Rothery likes to use it because he can look down and just see if it's in tune, what's going on. It's a cool, groovy thing. There we go.
You're cool and groovy.
One more before we get started.
That's all we've got for now.
Okay, fabulous. All right, so that was Pedal News. We've talked about the new winner of the Nocturne. Now we're going to get into the 5 pedalboard things to avoid to stop you looking like a
what?
Like a person who has things as failed.
No, more Australian.
Cricket terms.
More Australian.
So you don't get out for a duck.
I hate getting out for a duck.
Yep. On your first ball.
So
let's...
Your galah?
Yeah, flaming glass. So you don't look like a flaming glass. Struth. Core blimey. All right,
Crikey.
so... right, the first thing we're going to talk about is power. Now, I've set up a little thing here. I've just got 2 pedals. I've got a fuzz and I've got a delay. And it's really simple. I think you should be able to hear this. So what I've got going on here with power, I've basically got a daisy chain. But at the end of one daisy chain, I've got a virtual battery going to the fuzz, and I've got a Mr. Universe going to the delay. Now, what does that mean? It means that these pedals are isolated from each other. When we talk about isolated power, what we mean is that we are isolating each of the power supplies from themselves. So it's like these are both plugged into batteries. Okay? Why is this important? What happens, especially with digital pedals, is that there'll be a whole bunch of digital and switching noise that will end up on the ground of the supply. But if that ground of the supply is connected to this ground of the supply and the positive, it can create a lot of noise. So, I mean, I don't even have the fuzz on, right? All I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the isolation and I'm going to plug straight in with the end of the daisy chain.
ET phone home.
That is the noise that you'll get. So, you know, when you're setting up for a gig and you go, oh, that doesn't sound good. If your power supply isn't isolated, can you hear that, Lizzie?
I can hear it.
All right. So again, I'm going to unplug the daisy chain. I'm now going to isolate it with a Mr. Universe and plug it back in. The noise is gone. Trap is clean. Goes to stored here in that custom incarceration facility. So that is super important. Now, what does that mean? So this is part of it. You know, our older modular supply system, which is fabulous. But Gen X 14, Gen X 8, it's basically will do exactly the same job, sending isolated, super clean power to your pedals to make sure that it's the one thing that you turn up to a venue and you're probably going to be a little bit louder on stage and the stuff that you might not have heard, but that digital noise going through on a less awesome power supply.
It's my favorite thing about doing board builds.
Right. Is
that when you first turn it on and the customer who's just got their board built is like, is it working? Is it on? Does it? And then you play a note and they're like,
we had exactly when I did a board for Kirk Fletcher, and he just has his pedal on the floor and all daisy chain together. And I'm like, Kirk, just give me a second. I did a board for him. He's like, is this on? Mm-hmm. And then bang, he hits it. It's like it's on and really loud. If your power isn't right, nothing's going to sound right.
Yeah, there's no point. There's honestly no point.
So
I would go as far as to say that for me, power is the most fundamental thing.
Yeah.
Because you're not giving the pedals the best chance of doing what they're meant to be doing.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. So there we go. Make sure that your power is really good quality and isolated. We do some really cool power supplies that will do all of those jobs. You heard it here. All right. Number 2. What do we have on the list for number 2, Lizzie? The second image.
Cables.
Cables. Okay.
Cables.
All right. Actually, I'm gonna just add this in. I was with the beautiful Joey Landis today, and I've been thinking about this for quite a while. The reason that this sort of stuff is really important now more than ever is a time to understand the true meaning of Christmas. Sorry, I got Bill Murray on the brain at the moment.
That's a problem I wish I had.
So I would say that, when you're out doing gigs and stuff and people that are turning up to your show, they're after a bit of levity. They're after a little bit of escapism because the world is on fire at the moment and it's not fun. You, as gigging musicians and people that are out there with people putting a bit of art and light and goodness into the world, it's incumbent on us to get this stuff right. It's super, super important. And I feel how important it is to make sure that everything we put out there is going to help you do that. But I just think, now more than ever, it's so important to, because what you do out there, if you're out there gigging and you are with people and giving them a bit of joy, I really feel that it's more important now than ever.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, totally agree.
Super, super important. So this is important stuff. Okay, so number 2, we're going to have a look at patch cables. not just patch cables, but all of your cables. There's one thing that isn't talked about enough. Yes, we're going to have a look at patch cables, but we're going to have a look at what is important with your guitar cables that go to your pedal board, the guitar cables that go from your board to your amplifier. It is such a point of failure in pedal boards. So, okay, first thing we're going to have a look at, one question that we get asked all the time is why we use the Evidence Audio SIS. We use lots of different patch cables when it comes to soldered. We have our own branded Eminence soldered patch cables that we'll make up.
All of the names that are really close.
Yes. We have the square plugs, and we also have the new Evidence Audio soldered, right angle plugs that are brilliant and that fit G3 perfectly. But one of the systems that we've been using for a long time and that we love is the Evidence Audio screw-in solderless system. It's the only solderless patch cable that we use. We won't use anything else. There's a reason that it's awesome as part of the solid core, but the guys have done a little video putting together one of these things. So I just wanted to quickly show you how we put them together, and we'll explain to you why these are so great.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Are you ready, Lilybet?
So there's a handsome man. So this is the Evidence Audio monorail patch cable. Now Jack is using, as he's a skilled board builder, he's using snips to take off the outside sheath, but there's a little cable stripping tool that comes with it.
Should have thought that really when I filmed the video.
That's all right.
But,
it's okay.
I'm
it's all right.
such a pro.
You're such a pro. It's such a pro. Okay. So
yeah, we take off the outside insulation.
Yep.
That there's a little tool that Evidence supply you with, and you
makes that really easy.
Yeah, and you use the biggest hole on it basically. But I prefer to use snips out of habit. So we pull that away, and then you're left with the ground of the cable, and then this black isolation. I'm going to hit play again.
Right. So Jake is twisting the outside isolation. Lizzie was going to throw something then.
And we just wrap it round behind itself. And then next I'm removing the black layer of isolation. We then take the white off as well. I did that a bit quick there, which leaves us with just the solid core.
Can you just go back a second? I just want to see you take the white off.
You love watching me take the white off.
Now this is really, really important. The black insulation around the outside, you have to strip that. One of the things that will happen when people make these cables, they don't remove the isolation and then the cable doesn't work. The thing is that isolation is conductive, and it's because what makes it black is the carbon they put in it, which is conductive. So actually the cable might work, but it might be really dull because it's
like
just
a tone pot,
exactly like a tone pot. So, or a resistor to ground, and the combination of that and the capacitance of the cable is a tone pot. So by stripping that isolation off, we are in business because we can now, so Jake stripped that off, and now he's going to remove the outside insulation. So now we've got the white outside insulation, the solid core of the cable, and the outside ground. Right now, Jake is trimming that to length. And what makes this really cool is the solid core. And inside the connector that it goes in is a threaded, like a, what do you call
reverse helix.
That,
like a thread.
Like a thread. And that gets threaded into the tip of the cable. Once that's on there, you can pull the cable and you know when it's connected because it's
when we first got them about how long? 15 years ago?
Yeah.
About that? 14, whatever. They had a little brochure that looked really funny to me that had a picture of a mountain bike hung by a patch cable.
Yep.
And I thought that wasn't real, and then I'd been photoshopped. So I made a cable up without putting the screw-on ends on, and I hung from our stairs.
I remember well.
And it took my weight.
Yes.
Without an issue.
Yeah, it's That's really cool. So there we go. So
Can I just ask a question?
yes, of course.
Can you get hiss with the SAS plugs if the solid core is not seated enough?
Can you get hiss?
If it's not seated in enough, it simply won't work.
Yeah, they tend to work or they don't.
Because
really,
it's-
in my experience,
Because it's cutting into the solid core itself to create that thread. It either sits in place or you misalign it and then it simply won't work. It's not a case of either or. It kind of works or doesn't, just in the design of it.
Yeah, the easiest, the way to know, and this is the genius of this, with, loads of people have had great results with jaw gels and other solderless cable. I mean, Eric Johnson uses jaw gels, it's
full stop.
full stop. But the problem that I have with them is you've got a cable that you've cut and then you've got a pin inside the plug, and that pin has to touch inside the wire and touch around the braid of cables, and you never really know how good that connection is.
Yeah.
The difference with the Evidence Audio one is once you screw the end in, you can pull it, and if it's like it's on, because it's not
It
coming
won't come
off.
Yeah.
And it
You
either
know-
comes off or doesn't.
You know
it.
that's screwed on, and you know that's a good connection. So yeah, it won't hiss. It'll either work or it won't. And do this properly, and it'll work.
The final point I just want to mention about the video. What I do here is I just make sure that's completely tight to the cap. So I'm using the snips there to fasten it down to make sure this is flush here.
Yes.
Because if you're doing a lot of them and I have particularly clammy hands, sometimes I struggle to get that flush. So use like a pair of pliers or the pair of snips to make sure they're completely flush and flat. Otherwise you struggle to get that.
So I would say pliers, so you don't dull your snips, but also with pliers, once you've hold the plug in the pliers, don't let go and just rotate the top.
Yeah.
And but once they're on, they're on.
Yeah.
I've been using them for years. I've never had one fail.
Agreed.
We've built pro rigs with them. We did all the Radiohead rigs with them. Perfect.
Yeah.
So that is how we make the Evidence Audio screw and solderless patch cables. We think they're fabulous. However, if you're doing soldered cables, obviously the soldered cables are great. The weakest link is the person that's making them, regardless of whether they are soldered or solderless.
Hard agree.
You can have an amazing solderless cable and you can have a crap soldered cable. If the person that's making the solder cable doesn't know what he's doing, it makes cold joints. The soldering iron might not be hot enough to actually give you a good ground when you're soldering to the outside of the shield. It's as good as the person who is making them.
Yeah, 100%. That's a very important point.
Yeah. Really important. So when you're putting your board together, you make sure that the connections are good. So like my guitar is still plugged in here. I'm wiggling these around and making sure that nothing is, farting out or nothing's cutting out. And I'm actually being quite aggressive with it. And, it's all, we're good. We're good. I think for me, if you do a lot of miles between gigs and things are bouncing and everything around on the road, it's one thing to put a cable in and it work. It's another thing to do 1,000 miles on bumpy country lanes and get out and go, what's going on? So give it a really good, pull the cable around, make sure that the cable's solid. The other really important thing is you need to make sure that there is no tension between the cable and the pedal it's plugged into or the loop switcher it's plugged into. Super, super important. If you have tension with the patch cable, it is going to fail. Maybe not now, but it'll promise you it'll fail when you step up to do a guitar solo.
Too right.
So super, super important. No tension in your patch cables, right? Super, super important.
Fully agree.
Right. Patch cables. The the quality of a patch cable, I promise you, will pay for itself. So make sure they're good. If you want soldered and you don't know how to solder, get someone who does know how to solder to do them for you. Lots of great builders we've seen. Like in America, you've got the guys at XTS, you've got Goodwood Audio, Brian a Million. These guys are building amazing boards, and they really know how to put these things together. If you are doing a tour and you're in any way unsure, there are really professional people. Obviously, we build rigs here. Yeah. So if you're in the UK and you want a rig built, get in touch and we're happy to do it. But you need to have the confidence that these things are put together properly. So that's patch cables. I think I've covered patch cables. We happy? All right. Guitar cables. Okay, I'm just going to unplug this and hopefully it won't go too... Oh, there you go. There you go. Right, so here we have a guitar cable. And hopefully, Lizzie, if you can go on this camera, hopefully you can see this.
Yeah.
One end has got a right angle and one end is straight. Now, depending on the guitar that you're using for the input, this will work really well. Depending on the guitar I'm using, obviously if I'm using my Telecaster, this isn't quite deep enough. But for most guitars, these work really well. This is actually the new Boss cables, and I think these are really cool. What is really important with your cable is that the way the actual cable itself is connected to the plug. Right, so I'm going to undo this here. And Lizzie, hopefully you can get in on that.
Yeah.
But you see that heat shrink there, and the heat shrink goes over this bit on the outside, which hugs and clamps into the outside of the cable. This is really, really important because you've got two things here that are holding this in place. You've got the clamping of the shield on the outside of the cable, and then you've got the heat shrink. And the heat shrink as well, because it's covering the tip, it gives you that isolation so that when this goes on and tightens up, that's pretty secure. Now, there are other cables that you could argue are even better. So you look at the Neutrix cable has another clamping facility actually inside here so that when you screw that on, it grabs and bites even deeper. So here we go. So this is... So this is
out of the corner of my eye about a minute ago.
Right. So this is a Neutrix connector, and if I'm doing, probably my favorite connectors.
Yeah, I'd say they're sort of industry standard.
Yeah, industry standard. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just show you this here. I'm going to unscrew the cap, and then this slides off here.
Just come towards the pedals a bit more down.
Sorry. Right.
Thank you.
It slides off here, and you can see this little bit of black insulation aside. What happens with this is that sits over the hot connector, and then it grips onto the cable.
Sorry, it's just out of shot. If
Sorry.
You can come toward, that's perfect. Right. Thank you.
There we go. So it grips onto the cable here. So what happens is when this the cap gets screwed in, this bites onto this section, which grips the cable really tight. And it means that you just have this super, super solid connection.
Yeah, none of the tension is on the solder.
None of the tension. That's exactly right. So what we're doing is we are relieving tension from the solder joint. So now that's there. So all of the tension in the cable here is held in this area, not here. So that's the most important thing with your cables, is that they have good tension relief in the jack itself. There are cheaper cables. I think we don't have any here, but there are cheaper cables that where the ground solders to the outside, it just sort of sits there.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
Eventually wiggles free.
eventually it will fail, you know.
Because, ideally you want a mechanical connection, not just a soldered connection.
That's right. That's right. Now, the other thing, I'm going to show you how not to wrap a cable and how to wrap a cable. Now, I know this is very basics, but this is really important because these things are expensive and you want them to last. Now, wrapping a cable generally, if you put them around your elbow and just keep wrapping them like this, eventually they're going to curl up and be gross.
Oh no, that's what I always do when I tidy up down here.
Right.
So sorry.
That's why
It's
none
all
of our
right.
cables work down here.
So if you see this, I've taken the cable here, my cable's in my hand like this. I'm going to wrap it around like this. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to give it a twist on the inside like this. And then around like this, around on the inside like this. Now, that cable, if I stretch that out, it'll be perfect, right? If I just wrap it like you would wrap a garden hose, right? I mean,
You're
you can
adding
see
a
it already
twist.
twisting, and that will eventually cause grossness.
Yeah, you add tension each time.
Yes.
The way that Dan is showing you, the first loop is in one direction and the next loop is in the other direction, so you don't build up this tension.
Correct.
That will actually help with the hose as well.
Yeah, it will help with the hose as well.
I do. That does annoy me.
However,
Onto that gardening show.
please don't do this.
Oh, I do that too.
Right.
Oh,
You see this?
That's making my bottom go.
Oh,
Right.
no.
Now,
So where's the
This
cable
is-
going to break?
where's
so
the cable going to break? I wonder. So it's just not good, right?
What is that therapy that they make you like? hold a
Immersion
tarantula?
therapy.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now.
Right. Okay. So here we go. Here's the Boss cable. Thankfully, on the Boss cables, you have these little Velcro, and they just wrap around like this.
And then you can knot it.
Yep.
Like that.
No one gets hurt. Everyone's, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these cost pence from eBay, but they will save you heartache when this eventually fails.
I had a cable fail the other week, and what happened was this broke off.
Oh, no.
It lasted me 15 years.
Okay.
Not a problem
Yep.
at all. But I think I tripped and I knocked it slightly. And then when I pulled it out, it came apart. But it wasn't the actual cable itself. It was the plug
wow.
eventually.
The tip.
So if you look after your cables, they just don't fail. I need to undo this.
Okay.
This is
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
This
no,
is
no,
illegal.
it's gross. It's gross. So,
We have 7 minutes. left,
okay,
by the way,
right.
for a
So,
phone check.
all right. So that's cables. Look after your cables and they'll look after you. Done the patch cables. What's next?
contingency.
Contingency. All right. Okay. So, please pass me. Is there a quartermaster there? Quartermaster behind you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. This is a quartermaster. The reason that loads of pro guys who maybe wouldn't consider a programmable MIDI switching thing, but love having these on their board, is that if anything happens to their pedals or happens to their patch cables or whatever, they can just take that pedal out of the system and the show continues. So, for example, John Frusciante has a couple of quartermasters, but they're actually hidden under his pedal board and they are all on. All the loops are on, and he turns his pedals on and off. But when his pedals fail, and they do fail, the tech just walks up, which is behind the pedal board, and takes it out of the loop.
Mhm.
Show goes on.
The alternative is the walk of shame,
The walk of shame.
which we've all done.
Have you done it? Man, I remember
Yeah.
doing it. It is the worst thing ever. So one of the reasons that we see so many pro players with a quartermaster is that very thing. When they, just as a contingency, it's well worth it.
Stuff will go wrong.
Stuff will go wrong, and so this can absolutely save your butt on a gig. Now, what some people do, so if I think back to the late great Jeff Beck, who had 2 QMX2s on his board and had them for the longest time, they were called the remote loopy 2s, but which was basically the same circuit as the QMX2, and he would have his vintage effects that were really touchy, and he just, use just to save the foot switches on those pedals. And the same thing with Steve Lukather. He has a bunch of pedals in one loop, so he can just turn it on, and if there's a problem, he can bypass it, go straight to the amplifier. So he's got 2 QMX2s on his system. But that's the thing. If you've got pedals in a loop switcher, and including G2 and G3, troubleshooting them becomes so much easier. If, it's okay if you're doing, a gig down the Dog and Duck and you've got a couple of pedals and, great. But if you're actually going out to doing a run of dates and you really need something that's going to look after you, then putting the pedals in a loop switcher is just a fabulous thing to do. It can really, really save heartache, which we have all done, and we would not wish that for you. Okay, that was number 3. Number 4.
Was that 3?
Was that 3 or was that 4?
That was 4. Right?
That was 4.
It's 4. What was number 5?
Was that okay? Right, so that was. Okay, no. So number 4. This is super important. Once you've built your board, right, and you've got the right power, you've got great patch cables, things in redundant systems like Quartermasters and all that stuff. You then need to take your board to a rehearsal space where you can turn it up and play at gig level. I cannot tell you how important this is. Things will happen at gig level that just don't happen when you're at home playing in your bedroom. And if only so that when you step on your solo, you can be heard. What happens when you're practicing at home, you're getting your board together, and things are really quiet because you don't want anyone yelling at you for the kitchen? Your amplifier reacts completely different at that quiet level, and you'll step on your solo boost and you'll be able to hear yourself at home, no problem. But when you're at gig level and things are turned up and the amplifier is limiting, you step on the solo or you step on your big muffin, hey, where did my tone go?
And it's context.
It is completely
with
context.
Playing with everyone else, it will change how you need to dial things in.
Absolutely.
When you're on your own.
So that is absolutely essential. You need to get the board at gig level before you start doing your gigs and really hammer it, and that's when you'll find out that things are working. Until that point, you can't be 100% sure. I think, is that it?
Yeah, 5 was contingency plan. I'm confused how we've managed to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think that's a good way to show the people how we do. 1, 2, 5, 4, 3.
But we get there in the end.
Yeah.
Scott Curry has just asked, can you clean the jacks of the QMX with, is it Deox?
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Or should you spray and a plug and insert?
Yep. So if you want to give it a spray inside, grab the plugs, in and out a couple of times, job done. And that's actually really important. If you're
clean your jack sockets.
Clean your jack sockets. Cleanliness is next to godliness. It really is. When you're putting your rig together, and like I've got my pedal board and it's been fairly consistent until I got my new amp. But yeah, absolutely, get some deoxit or get some switch cleaner, and give things a spray and give them a clean.
It's magical how you can bring something properly back from the dead with it.
Yeah. the amount of things you've done, even just for me,
Yeah.
that you've cleaned up. That because I've got really corrosive sweat,
Yeah.
so I just rot stuff out.
Yeah. And
from
that's
gigs.
so
Yeah.
really. So there we go. Number 5. Use
It's your switch
when
cleaner
you're doing
and
your board.
pots and your switch.
Give them a clean.
And I literally, very long story short, Lizzie's dad works at a charity shop and they had some guitars donated and there were 2 Strat copies that neither of them were working, and I managed to get both of them alive with just switch cleaner in the
Amazing.
5-way. Just sprayed some switch
Yep.
cleaner, rocked
got
it back
some
and
dirt
forth,
in there,
and they were both
Yeah.
Yeah.
back alive.
Yeah. That in itself will save you so much heartache.
Agreed.
So there we go. So number 1, power. Number 2, patch cables, audio cables. Look after them. Number 3.
Number 5.
Come on.
Backup
No,
plan.
no. So
Contingency, wasn't it? Was
number
it
3.
Was it contingency or was it something else? I thought it was contingency.
Okay, yeah. Number 3, put things in loops. Make sure that you've got a backup plan. That's one great thing about putting things in loops. Number 4,
Gig volume.
gig volume. You must rehearse your board at gig volume. And number 5, when you're building stuff, make sure things are clean. Use a bit of switch cleaner. Give
Also,
it a
I've
wing.
thought of another one.
Yeah.
Also, let me say it. I wonder if you're about to say the exact same thing as me. Take batteries out of pedals.
Take
That's a really-
batteries
when you're
out
building,
of pedals.
when you're building your board, take your batteries out.
And the other thing I would say that goes next to the cleaning thing, when you're putting new Velcro on your pedals,
Yep.
you have to clean both sides,
yes,
both
the
the pedal
residual
board
glue.
and the pedal,
Yeah.
so that the Velcro, the adhesive in the Velcro can stick to the pedal. If it's not clean, it doesn't stick. And then you build a board and then it starts falling apart.
I think we need to do a whole show on how to
Yes.
attach your pedals to your pedal
I
board.
agree, because I'm going to add another slight bit onto that point. If you put new Velcro on, you stick your pedal down and it's wonky and you go, oh man, I want to straighten
Make it
it back
straight,
up.
yeah.
Leave it for 24 hours. Think of the adhesive that you're using as any other sort of glue. If you were
Right.
super gluing something, you would glue it and you leave it for a day, right? So even if you put your pedal down wonky,
Yep.
just leave it for a day. Don't put your board sideways, let that glue dry, and then I promise you that Velcro
Yep.
will not come off.
and, we could do an entire episode just on how you route cables.
Yeah. Okay. All good. All good. Okay. So that's us. I hope that was helpful. I'm going to chop this up into little bits that I think would be, hugely beneficial. We're getting a lot of people asking about the web editor, and I know I've said it before, that because the thing is so huge and we just want to make sure it's right. But just had an email through from Mike,
Michael?
and they've gone through everything and it looks like we're there. So we're going to do a bit more testing just to make sure, but we are so close, people. So thank you so much for your patience with that. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you, BV, for being the superstar that you are.
As always, legend.
Yeah, have a fabulous week. Remember, this stuff is important. You guys out there playing guitar in front of people, adding a little bit of joy into people's lives. At the moment, we need you more than ever. So make sure you understand how important it is to get this stuff right, because what you do is super important. Thank you. God bless you. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Yeah.